Building a house can break you not only financially, but mentally. However, some of the hardest things you'll go through in life, the most stressful things, can be the most rewarding. In this video, I'm going to share with you the hidden cost that you never thought of when it comes to building a house. I'm going to share with you the mistakes that I personally made, my clients have made, features you'll want to put in the house, selections you'll want to make, and most importantly, some things that you can do to improve your lifestyle while living here that bring you value when you sell it. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to build a house and never sell it, right? Yeah, heard that before. Been there and done that. But the cost that you're going to look at are impact fees. That's the first and foremost, because a lot of people don't realize there is an impact fee. Yeah, there's city, there's county, there's parish, and they will charge you just to make an impact on the ground, if you will. And you have to know what those fees are. You also have to check with your city, your county, your parish, and ask them what the setback lines are on that lot if it's not already developed. Now, it's one thing if it's a builder and you're buying a spec home, but I'm talking about building your own custom home. And when you do that, when you buy that land, even before you buy that land, I'll put a link to my land videos if you haven't seen those. But when you buy that land, you have to know what are the setback lines, how far does the house have to be back off the road, and what is the road frontage? Can I actually put the size of the home that I want to put on that property? The last thing you'll want to do is to buy a piece of land, buy plans, interview builders, only to find out you can't build what you want to build. Now, another cost that gets overlooked is grading and tree cutting. Something as simple as grading a lot, cutting down trees can be way more expensive than you thought. Take a pine tree that's 100 foot tall, for example. Those things will run you anywhere from $500 to $600 to have removed. And if you've got 10 or 12 of those on your lot, that can add up real fast. But when it comes down to it, you'll want to do this one simple thing. This is really, if you get anything from me, always do this. When you're building a house or even flipping a house, you'll want to add a 20% addition, a 20% override, because I promise you, you can have the biggest list, the best builder, everything. There will be things that come up, and just be prepared for that. That's why I always tell people, be patient, take your time, make your selections, and just know that it's probably going to cost you a little bit more than you budgeted for. But that's not a bad thing. Knowing that going in can help you when it comes to making your selections. And I always tell people, when you're going to build a house, always put back porches on homes. Always put some sort of covered back porch on the home. And when you do that, you always want to make room for electrical receptacles. Put lots of electrical receptacles on your back porch and in your garage. And one way to do that is simply ask the builder, or if you're acting as the builder yourself, which reminds me that if you are going to be your own builder, you got to check with your state, because some states won't allow you to build your own home. So you need to make sure you're going to do that if you're going to be your own contractor. If not, you're going to hire someone. Either way, you want to go through before they run all the electrical wires, and you'll take a Sharpie and just put an X and tell the builder, hey, I put an X where I want electrical receptacles. Those things are literally less than $2 a piece. It is so easy and simple to do that before you're building the house, until you get sheetrock up, and then it's an absolute nightmare, and it costs you triple the money. Now, what I share with you is from my years of experience, and it's just my personal opinion. I do not put in 8-foot ceilings. I do 9-foot minimum ceilings, if not 12 or 14-foot ceilings. And what's really nice is if you can do 8-foot door casings. I know it costs a little bit more, but it just adds so much class and pizzazz to the house. Like when you're going to do the bathroom in the main bedroom, right? You'll want to make sure that you do double vanities. You always do a separate garden tub or some sort of jacuzzi tub if you want jets, and always do a separate shower. In the kitchen, you'll want to do under cabinet lighting. Do that while you're building the house. It can save you a ton of money. When it comes to cabinetry and cabinets and pantries, you want to make sure, if you can and you're building a custom home, build a walk-in pantry. Not just a door that you stand in front of it in the kitchen if you're building a custom home. The other thing to do is insulate your bedrooms, insulate your utility room. We all know, give me a yes, a thumbs up, comment. You know good and well that there's nothing more aggravating than to have your washer and dryer going while you're trying to watch TV or have guests over, anything like that. You can simply insulate that while it's going in the framing process, and you won't hear any of those machines. Now, some of the things that's kind of my pet peeve are windows. Do not put cheap windows. I promise you, it saves on your utility bills. You don't want those windows fogged. We probably all have fogged windows. You can give me a thumbs up on that. They drive you crazy. You'll want to make sure you do a good quality window. You'll also want to make sure that you do a good exterior insulation, not just insulation, but I always recommend doing brick. If you can, do an all brick house, or at the very minimum, do brick and some hardy board. It's an absolute phenomenal insulator, and it lasts for a lifetime. And look, if you can, when possible, don't put the garage door on the front. If you have enough lot size, put that garage door on the side. And you also, if you're in a neighborhood, you'll want to make sure that garage door is on the opposite side of your neighbors. Have you ever had one of these houses or seen these houses, or maybe you live in one of these houses and you don't like these houses? And what I'm talking about is how a builder will put the garage on a house on the front, and the right next door is another garage right there. And so literally when you're outside, you feel like you're living in a damn apartment complex, right? You just paid $500,000 for a house and everybody's got frontage garages. Why builders do that, I do not know. It makes no sense to me why developers even allow that, because you have to understand, most builders are not developers. They're builders, and then you have developers. Somebody else is buying the land, cutting the dirt, and they're selling the lots to the builder. But that's one thing you'll want to look at. When in doubt, always put a side entry garage. It will help you in your lifestyle while living in the house, and also help you with resale. Now, a couple of things that will help you with cost. One is adding in the cost of a privacy fence. If you're building in a residential neighborhood, or even just building on a lot, if you want to put a fence in your backyard, add that to the cost, because you have to understand what you're more than likely going to do is you're going to get with a local bank or credit union. You're going to ask them if you can do a construction perm loan. That's basically where you can buy the lot, and with the lot and your plans, they will approve you for a loan for permanent financing. Now, they'll allow you to pull draws to build the house, draws of money in increments to build the house. And once the house is finished and complete, you'll get a CO, certificate of occupancy. That's a tongue twister for me, sorry. But once you get the CO, then they're going to basically appraise it, rubber stamp it, and you can go to closing just like you're buying a traditional house, and you can put that on a 15 or a 30-year fixed mortgage. Now, it depends on the neighborhood. You always got to look at those HOAs, because sometimes they won't allow you to put in different colors. Maybe you're thinking, well, I don't want to put in a concrete drive. You have to look at little things like this. What's the concrete drive going to cost you? What's it going to cost you to do after the fact? What's it going to cost you to roll it in now? So you have to understand, for every $10,000 that you borrow, whether you're getting a mortgage for a current home, existing home, or you're going to permanent finance your new home that you're building, it's running about $64 for every $10,000 that you borrow. So if it's going to cost you $7,000 or $8,000, it may be $50 a month to add a concrete drive, as opposed to just having a gravel drive. But if you really want a concrete drive, cash is king. It's hard to save up that money. Once you get it saved, you may not want to put that on a driveway, and instead roll that into the actual cost of the house. It will increase the appraised value of the home, and the lender can lend you the money and have it all included. Now, one of the things I want you to do, is this good stuff? If so, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe. I do all kind of videos on all kind of construction, real estate, you name it. My name is Wayne Turner. Forgive me, I didn't introduce myself. Been in the real estate business for 30 plus years, and I've just helped thousands of people. One of the things you'll always want to do is put a pedestrian door. That door goes into the garage. Let me show you. As I walk through this door, I'm in the garage. What's cool about that is, every day when I come home, I don't have to pop that door. I don't have to go in my front door. Most people don't go in their front door. You'll probably agree. If so, give me a thumbs up and say, yeah, I don't go in my front door. I go in my side door, my garage door. But one thing for me is I don't like to open up my door constantly, but I'll pull in. Now, this is a front entry garage. It doesn't matter if it's a side or a front entry. You'll want to do a door. That way you can do a nice little walkway around the side, and you can come in this door every day, every afternoon, washing your car, anything like that. It just makes it super accessible, just a nice little feature. And at the end of the day, it's just a door. It literally, that's less than $1,000. And look, do yourself a favor. Do not cheat on floors. Don't go cheap on floors. Don't go cheap on windows. Don't go cheap on light fixtures, and try to keep things neutral. You can change colors of rooms, but you can't change that floor. It's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to literally floor a house like this. Is 2,300 square feet. You'll also want to make sure that you don't put any crazy colors or features on hard items. In other words, cabinets, try to keep them somewhat neutral. Also countertops. Remember back in the 70s and 80s, we've all seen those homes where it's like a completely mauve bathroom, or it's yellow, or it's avocado green and harvest gold, as they call it. You don't want to be that house into the future. Whether you're still living in it or selling it, it can hurt you in resale. And at the end of the day, when it gets dated, you'll just have to change it. It costs you more money. Now when it comes to hiring contractors and subcontractors, the last thing you'll want to do is hire the cheapest one. You got to ask them for references, ask them for other homes they've built. Call those people, knock on their doors, ask if you can go inside the house, ask the builder for plans, ask the builder if you see a plan or floor plan that you like, have they built that home before? All of those factors go into place, and you just have to be patient. You have to go off a checklist. And listen, any contractor has to be extremely organized. There's so many moving parts and so many moving people, and they have to know that they've got their stuff together. And that's a good contractor. A bad contractor will drive you absolutely crazy because they'll give you a different answer. You've probably experienced that if you've ever built before or dealt with subcontractors. It's like herding cats, right? But at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Have a checklist, because you don't want to be unprepared when the builder says it's time for you to make your selections. You got to this floors and carpet and paint and fixtures and cabinets, and you just want to make sure that you're prepared. So have a checklist in mind: lighting, cabinetry, floors, carpet, paint, absolutely everything. Anything that has a color to it, you'll want to make sure that you select it ahead of time and have a good idea for that. Listen, I'm Wayne Turner. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. So give me a thumbs up, like, leave a comment. If I've missed anything, you're a contractor out there, you've built homes, be sure and chime in. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, thank you and God bless.